Hey guys, I wanted to answer a question today around depression and success within business. I got this question from a viewer who's with the name of Ace Apologetics Cuts English 4290. He says, Mark, can you make a video about depression and anxiety in business? I have a problem where when I'm creating my Redbubble designs or Adobe stock images, I feel I'm wasting my time and nobody will buy them even if I already made thousands of sales on Adobe and tens of sales on Redbubble. I don't understand why this still happens if I have the evidence that it works. I'm 20 years old, just starting business. Is this normal? I'd appreciate if you could make a video about that. I know you've been through a lot of struggle and mental health issues, during the first few years of business. Of course, I ignore these feelings and keep working. I understand I can't feel all happy and motivated all the time, but I feel like too often these bad feelings consume me nearly every day. And of course, I answered because of that heartfelt question. I said, yes, I promise I'll make a video soon. When I do, I'll mention your name. So shout out to you, Ace Apologetics, Cuts English 4290. Shout out to you. So let me kind of address your question, right? And for those who don't know my story, basically I kind of talked about the first few years that I was in business. I made zero money. Only at really the end of the second year, did I really start making some serious cash. But before then, I made zero money, zero. And when I mean zero, I mean like if I made $40, the costs would, outweigh the 40. I had two jobs while being in college, and I was depressed. Yeah, I was. I'll also add to guys that I was a lot weaker than I was mentally, but I actually was more disciplined back then. And I kind of want to put this into perspective is like, and I noticed you said something here. You said, I know you've been through a lot of struggle and mental health issues. I want to be clear. I've never been through a mental health issue. I've had depression, but I felt depressed, but I never had depression. It was never something that was consistent, or it was never something that I had prior to my lack of success in business. And once I achieved really success in business, all of that went away. I think, and this is kind of where your problems stem from, is you're believing that the feelings that you're feeling now is not normal. Regardless of the success that you've had in the past, you said you had thousands of downloads already on Adobe Stock. You've had sales before on Redbubble. Regardless of your past success, you still feel this feeling of sadness and depression, almost like you're not making it, almost what seems like an imposter syndrome. All of this is just to say that you're supposed to feel that way. When you're in the grunt of building the business and you don't have the success to back it up, right? And you haven't achieved your goal yet, which, by the way, most people don't even define their goal. You're going to feel depression. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel a lot of negative emotions. And it's going to eat at you every single day. You're going to feel that. See, what makes, I hope I can say this, my YouTube channel different is from the other channels, is that they're making you believe that, that there's a problem with you when you feel these things. There's no problem with you. This is normal. It's normal to work at something on a day-to-day basis and feel sad because it's not panning out exactly the way you want. That's normal. And I think everybody should listen to this, is that all I knew, even though I wasn't successful at the time, is all I knew is I was going to work every single day and eventually it would pan out. I didn't know when. I didn't know how. I didn't know any kind of details. I just knew that eventually it would pan out, and it did. My point to everything that I'm saying here is that because you said the word mental health issues, this kind of gives me a doorway in on the way that you think. And remember, the way that everybody thinks is literally the preview of how their life is. If you believe that it is truly a mental health struggle, if it's something that owns you, or it has ownership over you, or you live in it, or it consumes you, then it will cause damage to you. And I'm not saying that when I was feeling sad or depressed about, my lack of success, that I wasn't feeling that. No, I was feeling it. But the difference is that I knew the reason why I was depressed. I was depressed because I was not successful. And as soon as my success came in, and kind of flourished and I was starting to do well, all of those feelings went away. You're believing that there's something wrong with you for feeling these things. There's no logical or normal human being who is not successful who doesn't feel some type of way about it. I mean, there has to be some sort of dissociative characteristic about you if that's the case. So firstly, right, I want you to understand and be actually accepting that, yeah, it's normal to feel sad and depressed when you're not successful. If anything, that should motivate you more to become more successful. I know you're 20 years old, but I'm going to give you pretty much the opposite advice of what these, Gary Vee type figures say. And I know a lot of people love Gary Vee, but a lot of the times you have characters like Gary Vee who are really, really successful, and people will come up to Gary Vee like in a talk or something like that, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm 25 years old, I'm 20 years old, I'm 19 years old," whatever that age is, it really doesn't matter. And they say, "I'm not where I want to be, what do I do," etc. And then what he tells them is, and I think this is very harmful advice, what he tells them is, "You're young, don't worry about the future, just keep working, whatever." And he's kind of right, but the reality is that we live in a world now where age doesn't matter in terms of success. People who are 20 can be massively successful. People who are 18 can be massively successful. We have certain vectors in our society that allow us to get there faster than people in past generations. It's never existed in history, at least not that I know of, where people can literally skip the line in terms of success. And the feelings that you're feeling now is because you're seeing other people maybe achieve it, or maybe have experiences of achieving certain things, or show that they're achieving certain things, whether they are or they aren't. You feel like you deserve, or not deserve, but you feel like you should be in that position, and you're depressed because you're not in the position you want to be. That's normal. That's fine. I think the problem comes in is where people think that that's not normal. No, it's normal to, let's say, for example, be at a sports event, you're an athlete, and your team loses, and for you to be sad after. Of course that's normal. I think the world now fits things in a frame to where, like, people cannot feel depressed, or they need to go see a therapist, or it's this big deal. It's really not that serious. It's you're not achieving what you want to do or where you want to be, and because of that will cause you to feel a certain way. But you're not that forever. That's not your label. That's not who you are. You are not a depressed person. You're just feeling depression. The fact that people believe that state of feeling exists forever is not true. It's kind of like a psyop by society to make you believe that there's something wrong with you. At least this is my opinion, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I was extremely depressed when I was unsuccessful every single day, working for literally, let's just say 3 years, for working every single day, with no kind of success to show. Pretty quick, after those 3 years, the success started coming, and it came very, very quickly. But when I say that, when that success started to come, the depression kind of went away. But I was so depressed that it did not depress me, meaning, yes, I felt very, very bad about it. We can call that feeling depression, but it did not hold me down. I was still doing the work each and every day. It doesn't matter what you feel. If there's something that you have to do, you do it. In terms of business, you have all the equipment to be able to do so. You have the computer, you have the mental capacity, right? You have the brains, you have the hands, you have everything you need to do to get the job done. It's just a matter of doing it more. And every time you feel something like negative, let's call it depression, whatever you want to call it, let's just call it depression for now. Whenever you feel that negative feeling, just understand that this feeling doesn't have to exist forever. All I have to do is go out there and keep working towards what I want to achieve. A lot of the times people feel that feeling of that negative depression or whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to give it. Let's just say negativity. They feel that prolonged negativity is because somewhere along the line, they've had this call to be successful. They've had this motivation, this call to do the thing that they're doing. And then somewhere along the line, they quit, they stop. And they believe that they can't do it anymore. That's probably the biggest mistake everybody does, is that they quit along the way. But think about it. If you've never quit and you just keep going, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 2 years, it could be a month, it could be whatever. Eventually, you're going to make whatever goal you want to achieve come true. Now, once again, a lot of people mess up is where they don't even define what the goal is. What is the goal? What is the achievement that you want to accomplish? What is the thing that you want to see happen? It's very easy to I don't want to say it's very easy, but it becomes clear when you have a point of reference where you should end up going. Now you know where to point your sail. But if you have no idea where you want to go, let's just say, for example, you're uploading every day to Adobe Stock. You're uploading every day to Redbubble. You're uploading to TeePublic. You're doing merch by Amazon. You keep working. And let's say your success is slowly growing. You have some proof, but you're still feeling these negative actions. Maybe you're feeling it because you don't know where you want to end up. Maybe at one point your goal was to make 10K a year on Adobe Stock, but now it's changed to 100K. Well, if that's so the case, you have to know where you want to end up. And it has to be something that you have been thinking about for a long time. It's not an idea that you just come up with in 2 seconds. That's not what a goal is. I made multiple videos on setting goals. Most people do it incorrectly. When you want to set a goal, you think of the attainable goal. So you think of, hey, I want 10,000 sales, or I want 2,000 sales, or whatever the number is. And then you do the reverse engineering on how do I get there? What steps do I have to take to do so? So for example, if my goal is to make 100,000 a year, I say to myself, okay, I have to do X, Y, Z, meaning I have to upload this many times a day. I have to do this many times a day to get to that 100K. And I'm just throwing numbers out. Maybe it's not 100K for you. Maybe it's 2 million. Maybe it's 50K. Maybe it's 10K. It doesn't matter, because you're not the only one on this video. Everybody's listening. Everybody has goals to achieve. And once again, it's normal to feel depressed. I think we're living in a world now, like I said, where, I can't watch a single video without a BetterHelp sponsorship coming up. People saying, everybody needs therapy. Everybody needs this and everybody. Isn't that depressing in and of itself? Where you go to a therapist and you sit there and you talk about your problems. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I personally don't do that kind of stuff. I don't engage with therapy. Because I don't believe that that's going to help me. Because talking about the problem is, I feel like, only going to aggravate it even more. The only thing that can solve my problem is the solution. And talking about it is not a solution. That maybe I am wrong, once again. Of course, everybody's different. But in the world of business, right? If I'm feeling depressed because I'm not achieving a certain level of business, there's only one solution to that. And it's not therapy. It's not some sort of medicine. It's not weed to calm me down. It's going out and achieving it. Once again, maybe my views are a little bit more hardcore. My views are not for everybody. I'm not some sort of doctor. But I could tell you from personal experience, and as you guys may have seen my videos in the past, I had nobody to communicate with about business, to say, oh, like I'm still, like I'm talking about in the journey where I haven't made any money, because my business journey is divided into 2 segments. Those first few years, or first couple of years with 0 success, and then everything else. Those are the only 2 periods of time in my business journey, the success and the failure. The beginning, you have to go through the failure. You have to go through that learning phase of how to become excellent or good at certain kind of tactics, enough to the point, or passing the threshold, for somebody to actually pay you worth what you're doing, right? And that comes in the form of a client, that comes in the form of downloads, in the form of sales, whatever form you want to call it. But you're going to have to go through these things and learn them and become great at them. And something I always tell myself is that the machines don't lie. And what do I mean by that? If I have let's say a Shopify store, and I only made $20 off the Shopify store, and I've sent, let's say, 10,000 visitors to the business, the machines don't lie. Something I'm doing is wrong in the business. There's so many people watching this who had similar experiences to me where I might be working continuously, right? And I say to myself, what am I possibly doing wrong? Everything I'm doing is perfect. It's not so much the case that everything I was doing was perfect, is that everything I was doing I thought was perfect, but really was not as good as it could have been. Whether it's the content I was writing, the photos that I was taking for the business, the checkout methods, the conversion optimization, and I'm just speaking in terms of technicalities here. There's different elements to obviously different businesses. But my point with everything that I'm saying here is, first of all, appreciate your depression. Because in the future, you're going to realize that the depression was the only thing motivating you. The pain was the only thing motivating you to move forward in the direction that you don't want to currently be in. Because really, that's the only thing that motivates humans most of the time. Like 90% of the time, pain is the only thing that motivates people. Literally. I mean, there's no better motivation than pain. I mean, I don't want to be a certain position anymore. I'm going to do what it takes to get out of it. That's pain. And depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff is normal. I don't know who came up with this idea that real business, like operating in a time where nobody's supporting you, nobody's giving you guidance, nobody's giving you a pat on the back, where that's supposed to be a fun time. It's not supposed to be fun. It's a phase where you're supposed to conquer and get out of, and then you move on to the next phase, which is success. Most people die in that first phase. They can't move on past it, and for the rest of their life, they live bitter because they've never been able to achieve that kind of level of success, right? But it's never too late, really, for anybody. You hear the story of Colonel Sanders, the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. He made his millions on Kentucky Fried Chicken when he was damn near over 70 years old or something like that. You know, everybody has different stories. And once again, I don't worship the idea of making a lot of money. Making a lot of money means nothing to me. It's more about the freedom that it can achieve. A lot of people think like, oh man, this guy, Autopilot Passive Income, the guy who's making the videos, he's just so obsessed with money. It's not that I'm obsessed with money. I really don't care about the money. I care about the freedom. I want to be able to wake up when I want, go to sleep when I want, buy what I want when I want. For me, I don't care about stacking money to the ceiling. That's not my thing. That's not what I enjoy. Some people do that, but that's not me. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, you know, and I've said this like thousands of times in this video already, but depression is normal. Use it. Do not feel like it's something negative. If I had to give advice to myself when I was younger, starting in business, making zero money, I really wouldn't give myself any advice at all, because I look back and no matter how depressed I felt, no matter how angry or sad I felt or how weak I felt, I just kept going. Now, logically, in my head, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying my best to make it out. But it worked. It worked. You just got to keep going. So if anybody's listening to this and you feel like you're not measuring up or you're not successful and it's causing some sort of sadness in you, right? Understand that there's only one solution to it. It's just more work towards a thing that you want to achieve to get better. And sometimes you might cause yourself to ask yourself some questions. Hey, what am I doing wrong here? You might be introspective. You might look at your business. You might test things in your business. You might start looking for systems. You might start improving things. You might start purchasing coaching lessons, courses. You might start doing things to help you move the bar or the needle to the next level, right? That might happen. That might not happen. Everybody's different. Everybody's situation is different. But that's really the only solution. You know, and I don't blame you for being depressed. Everybody would be depressed if they're not successful. Now, you're looking at yourself and you have some level of success and you're feeling you're not successful. But I feel like that's the only logical reason why you would feel depressed, right? And it's maybe your body or your mind telling you, hey, I'm not where I want to be. And that's fine. It's normal. Like, to say that it's not normal is a lie. It's completely normal. And once again, you don't need to go visit a therapist. You don't need to talk about it. You just need to solve the problem. In my head, at least maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But every single big problem that I had in business, the only way it was solved is not by talking, not by therapy, not by Zen, Buddha, meditation. It was going out there and doing the job. That was it, you know? And at the end of the day, the balance sheet tells the truth. I mean, anybody could sit there and give you advice about, you know, Oh, you need therapy, you need your meditation. The balance sheet tells the truth. How successful are you? How financially successful are you? And once again, not everything is about money, but this is an individual who's asking me, he doesn't know what to do. He's feeling bad about himself. He's feeling depressed. The only thing that's going to fix your problems is those sales right now. Mark Cuban has a saying. He says, sales cures all. He says that all the time. And that's true. In the world of business, sales cures all. You have a problem, go make more money. That's really it. Or go work to go make more money. Sometimes you can't control the outcome, right? But you can control the effort. And so if you're feeling sad, it's okay. Understand it's normal. Just keep working. And eventually you won't feel that way anymore because you'll see the success. All right. So hopefully everybody's watching this. If you are struggling, I'm not going to say hopefully nobody's struggling, because the reality is there are people struggling out there. If you're struggling, hopefully you don't quit on yourself and you just keep going. Everybody has a different time frame. Some people, it takes them 4 years to be, what they call successful. Some people, it takes them a year. Some people, it takes them 10 years. It just, everybody's different, But don't feel bad. Excuse me. I'm not going to say don't feel bad, because you're going to feel bad. But don't let it negatively affect you to where you don't work anymore. It's a normal part of life. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Bye.